We have a 3-for-1 today with 3 fragments of obelisks all at the National Archaeological Museum of Naples. So let's see what we can find. These are all going to be the last genuine Egyptian obelisks in Italy, though there are several fakes that we are still going to talk about before we get to other obelisks outside of Italy and outside of Egypt. The first obelisk is actually a piece of the Monte Ticiori obelisk, which is located in Rome. I did a whole video on that if you check out the playlist. Now, that obelisk was made during the reign of Psamtikis II in the 26th dynasty, but this is part of a lower portion of the obelisk, but it's weirdly unclear where this actually fits in. For example, here is that obelisk, and it doesn't really make any sense because that piece is so worn in comparison to the rest of this obelisk. So there is a theory that maybe that portion was left out in the elements and got more worn, but it doesn't really seem to, we don't know where it actually fits in like the grand scheme of this large obelisk. The second one again is actually pretty simple. It's a fragment of the Laterna obelisk, which I also made a video about. Now, this obelisk was originally erected by Thutmose III and Thutmose IV, and this fragment is of the lower portion of the north side of that obelisk and has a bit of decoration still preserved. Here's a quick look at that obelisk, just to remind you guys. Now, interestingly, while this obelisk in general does have both the Thutmosid pharaoh's cartouches on there, it also has an inscription for Ramses II because he just loved going around and slapping his name on anything that wasn't his. Now, the last one that's in this museum is not actually an Egyptian obelisk, but made by a Roman nobleman named Titus Sextus Africanus in the 1st century CE. Now, it was probably originally erected in Rome, but the fragments that you see here were found in Palestrina in 1791 and 1881. There was a temple of Isis in Palestrina at one time, and that's a pretty good estimation of where this piece may have been. Now, there is a pair to this obelisk that's in a museum in Munich, as the texts are really similar, but the Munich piece doesn't actually list where it came from. Now, what I find to be really weird is that even though this is a Roman invention, there are Egyptian hieroglyphs on here, and they have an actual inscription. They actually say things. And that tells us that this is either copied from another obelisk, or there was essentially someone still around that could write and read hieroglyphs. The pieces that we have left say the Lord of the Two Lands, son of the god, and then there's a blank, Caesar Augustus, and then another blank, and then it says Titus Sextus Africanus erected it. We still have quite a few obelisks to talk about that are located in Italy, but they are all fake or not Egyptian obelisks, so we're probably going to double them up to speed through some of these videos.